Hi, how you doing? Is anybody there? Let me know if you are here and you can hear me, so I know that there's somebody out there. But hi, this is Lindsay and with So Fancy, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm glad that you're with me. I hope that you're having a great day, a great week. I hope that you've been able to do something crafty and creative, and if you have, then please let us know, because we love to hear what you're working on. So hi, how you doing? And so the project that we'll be working on today is some vinyl decals. So these are vinyl decals that have multiple colors and multiple layers in them, and if you've ever done some of those, then you know how tricky it can be to get those layers lined up. So we're going to go over a few tips and tricks to hopefully make that a little bit easier for you. Let me go ahead and refresh my screen. I want to see comments here. If you're here, give me a thumbs up or a hi, so I know that somebody's listening. Oh, hi Liz. There you are. Hi. All right, so if you're just joining us, we're going to be doing some tips and tricks for vinyl decals and layering. So we're using Oracal 651 adhesive glossy vinyl, and I have that linked in the description of the video, and also the design for this, which is a really cute, inspirational SVG. And it's part of the June bundle, so check that out, because it's only available through the end of June. You know, each month we expertly curate these beautiful bundles that have, you know, fonts and SVGs and mock-ups and lots of other things. You know, lots of different designs for your crafting needs. So check it out, and available till the end of June. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera down so we can get to crafting. So just give me a second here. I gotta flip this around. Oops, there we go. All right, that's outside. All right, I'm gonna flip this down here to my workspace. All right, one more second and we should be good. And so you can see I've got some stuff already. Oops, I think this will be good. Okay, perfect. Okay, I think that's good. All right, so you can see that I've got a couple of different things here. I've got two sheets of parchment paper. This is just regular parchment paper, you know, cut straight off the roll. From, you know, stuff I purchased at the grocery store. If it is curled from being on the roll, I would recommend either heat pressing it or ironing it so it's flat, because that's going to be really important. So you'll need two pieces bigger than the decal that you're using, and I'll show you the design. I printed it out. I always do that. Isn't this cute? And I just in black and white, because this is how big it's going to be. So this gives me an idea, you know, is it going to fit on what I'm going to put it on? So I'll put it on my bullet journal. And this will also help me when I'm layering too, so I know which layer goes where. Oh, hi Cindy. Hi Linda. Oh, okay, Linda's never done vinyl layering before. So hopefully you'll be able to pick up a few things. So what I've already done is cut out all the different elements of the design. And of course, because I love color, I decided to do all the lettering in different colors. And, you know, obviously that makes it a little bit, you know, trickier, but, you know, I like color. If you ask me what my favorite color is, it's going to be rainbow, because I like to do these. Plus, it'll give me a chance to really show you what you can do with this vinyl layering. Because if you've ever done it before with registration marks, usually what you need is a piece of vinyl that is as big as your decal, so you can add the registration marks to the top. Well, if you've got your vinyl scraps, you know, and you've got something like this, okay, that might work. You can add registration marks up there. But what if you're working with something like this, you know? It's going to be really hard to be able to use up these little strips of vinyl, which I don't know about you, but I save. And if you've got a method for vinyl storage, then please let me know, because I'm kind of struggling with this bin system. But if you want to be able to use these, you know, teeny tiny little scraps in a, you know, a decal like this, this is a really awesome method to do that. So I've got the design already cut out, and then I also have a piece of Oracal MT80P transfer tape, and it is purposely cut bigger than my decal with particular room left on the right side of the design, because what we're going to end up doing is using this edge as a hinge to lift it up. And so what you want to make sure is that this area, there's not part of your design here. So I kind of exaggerated it a little bit, but you know, obviously you could make it a little bit smaller. And what we're going to start with, this is really cool, is actually giving us a template of the design. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. The first is using your pen holder. This is the pen holder for the CAMEO 4. I'm going to grab this in here. And a Sharpie pen. So the pen holder allows you to take, you know, other types of pens and use them in the machine to sketch. And it comes with different sizes of these colettes, and the Sharpie extra fine works perfectly with the medium colette. And then this is the pen holder for the CAMEO 4. It's a special pen holder, so if you have an earlier model, it's not going to work in the CAMEO 4. So this one's special and unique to the CAMEO 4 itself. And you've also got a cap too, which you want to leave on while you're assembling it. So you'll put it in here, and you want to press that pen all the way down and then twist it just like that to get the pen in there far enough so that it'll stick out the end a little bit. And then what you'll do is put it into your machine here. And then obviously you'll need Silhouette Studio open, which I should have had ready. But you'll also need your cutting mat. And actually, let's put the cap on the top here, because I will lose it if I put it anywhere else. And then your transfer tape. And I have the transfer tape still attached to the backing. So I'm going to leave that like that for now. Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to pull up my design in Silhouette Studio. And I'm excited because I got a new piece for my camera that will allow me to, let's turn on the machine too. They'll allow me to use my camera with my computer. So in the future, I'll be able to actually show you on the computer what I'm doing. And we're going to be sketching it, which is like, what is she doing? She is sketching a design? Yes. Yes, I am. I am actually going to sketch the design on top of the transfer tape, just like this. I have not gone crazy, I promise. This has been really helpful for me to line up designs using every last bit of scraps. All right, so that's gonna do its thing and start sketching the design. I'm going to very, very carefully push that out of the way. Ah, there we go. All right, now if you don't have the pen holder, that's totally fine. What you could do is you could take your transfer tape and the printed out design and put a piece of parchment over it, like this. And then you can take the transfer tape off of its backing, which of course I won't be able to do live, and you'll watch me struggle here. And then you can put it right on top of the parchment and use a permanent marker to trace the design, which obviously would take a little bit longer. If I do it this way, I usually just kind of trace some reference points for me, but you could go ahead and trace the entire thing if you wanted to. All right, so that is finishing up, and it's permanent, so you know, it's gonna dry and it'll be, you know, it won't come off while you're working with it. And the cool thing about the parchment is that the transfer tape won't stick to it. Okay, so that has sketched, and look at that. There we go. I'm gonna peel that up here. And now we're going to start layering our design. So what I'm gonna do is, I have found that it's nice to have this bottom piece of parchment secured on my workspace so that it doesn't move. That's important. And then the top piece, and then the transfer tape, and then your different elements, which I have all right here. And what you'll need to figure out is what is the top layer. And with this design, it is actually, I mean, if you can see, I know it's printed in black and white, but there's these decorative white marks that go over each letter. And so those are layered on top of the letters. So this is our top layer, because you want to start with the top layer, because everything that you start with, everything you is going to go behind it. So we've got that. And of course, you know, if you know, for something small like this, it actually might even be beneficial just to hand place these, but I want to go ahead and show you how this works. I'm actually going to move this over a little bit here. And what you'll do is take your transfer tape off of the backing, and of course, there we go. And it'll stick to the parchment, but not so much that you won't be able to get it off. And I'm gonna leave a little tail sticking off here. Make sure I'm in frame. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna make sure that I am stuck to the parchment, but then there's this little tail here. And then what I'm gonna do is take my first layer, and it's gonna go under under this top piece of parchment on here. And I want it to stay in place. So it's important that it doesn't move. So what I like to do, you might not find this necessary. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I bumped the table. Is I like to put a little sticky clear adhesive dots on the back of this so that it will stick. So I'm just gonna put that there. Then I am going to, this is really cool. The parchment is translucent enough for you to be able to move this around to line it up. And so I'm so sorry, you're gonna have to head for just a second while I line it up. So you wanna get it lined up here. There we go. Okay, so now You might not be able to see through, or on camera you might not be able to see through the parchment, but I can see it enough to be able to line it up, and I have it pressed down. And now I have the hinge on my work surface here. And so what I want to do now is very carefully just lift up this top layer and then peel off the parchment. And then I can fold this back down. And we'll see how I did there. Ooh, yeah, pretty good. And then I can press that down. And then I can peel this up and then peel off the backing of the vinyl. All right, and that is our first layer. Oops, that one kind of moved a little bit, but that's fine. For something this small, you could probably even just place these and move that over if you wanted to. All right, so then the next thing that you do is you take your next layer. And I'm gonna do the letters. Now, obviously, if you had cut the word dream in the same color of vinyl, then you would be lining up the whole word, but because I wanted to use all different colors, then of course I had to cut each letter in a different color. So I have actually already completed one of these decals. So I'm putting the little zot on the back. I have one of these completed, so you don't have to actually watch me do the whole thing. But I'm gonna do it a couple of times so you can kind of see how it works here. So this top layer of transfer tape is stuck to the parchment. And what I'm gonna do, there's a little tail hanging off the side too, is I'm gonna line up that letter. Sorry, you'll see my head for a second. And then I'm gonna press that down and then press the tail to the work surface, peel it up, oops, and then press it down there. Look, I love it when it works out. Now, you may be thinking, gosh, this is so tedious and this is, taking way too much time. Why would I do this? Well, maybe if you have to make 100 decals, maybe this isn't the method to use, because yeah, it is kind of taking a little bit of time to do this. But if you're, just a craft hobbyist and you're just doing one of these and you're a crazy perfectionist like me, then maybe this method is gonna work for you. And maybe you see some of this and think, oh hey, I have an idea of doing it a little bit differently, and you find a way to make it work better for you, then totally go ahead and do that, because I am all about finding what works best for you. All right, so you're gonna stick that down, press that hinge to your work surface, and lift this up so you can see why it's important that this layer here does not move. If it moves, and of course, this hinge too. And what I like about this method too is I could see right here if I was off, and I could actually do this again if it was not lined up correctly. Sometimes if you're doing the registration marks and you've got the registration marks lined up, then you put the registration marks on and then it doesn't line up completely, and then you're kind of committed to that spot. And you just peel it off here. All right, so there is that. And so you would continue doing that for the rest of the letters. And the other layered areas we have is this cloud here. So I cut the top layer from this sparkle adhesive vinyl, and then the bottom layer too here. So remember, when you've got pieces that are stuck, you know, that are layered together, you always want to start with the what's going to be in front too. So I'm going to go ahead and actually skip on over to the one that I have almost completed. So all I have left are these stars, and I have them here. And what I think is so cool about doing it this way is that you can literally, if you had a scrap of vinyl that small, you know, you can do the vinyl layering this way and use up all those little scraps, which I like to do. And you know, this is a little tricky here. It's a little fiddly, but we'll get through it. I like doing multi-layer, multi-color projects like this. So I like to be able to have different ways, different tools in my toolbox, if you will, up my sleeve, so I can find the method that's going to work well for the project. So for some vinyl layering projects, the registration marks method might be, you know, faster and easier. Just make sure I'm still in frame. Okay, cool. All right, and then for this part, since it's not actually, you know, terribly imperative that the stars are completely lined up, I can just, you know, kind of eyeball it here and press it on. But this is parchment paper down here, so the transfer tape is not going to stick to it. And if you're just joining us, we are going over just a few little tips and tricks about vinyl decal layering and using multiple colors of vinyl in one decal. And so what we did is we first sketched out the design. We had our machine do that with the CAMEO 4 pen holder, and I have linked to the Silhouette CAMEO 4 tools bundle because it includes not only the auto blade, the pen holder, it's got the rotary blade, and then the 2mm craft blades too. So when you get it as part of a bundle, you end up saving a ton of money. So that's an awesome bundle. So I have that in there, linked in the description. And then the design comes from our June bundle from So Fancy. And it's part of, there's multiple different inspirational messages, and this was one of them, the Stream Big, which I thought was cute. But there's also lots of other different SVG designs and fonts, and it's only available, it's our June bundle, so it's only available through the end of June, so you want to pick that up before it's gone. So then what I'm going to do is just line this up here on my bullet journal, and I'm just going to eyeball it because I'm cool with that. And I like that, and then I'll burnish it. Just like this. And I'm really hoping that I put it the right way. Yeah, I did. I didn't check to see that, make sure that this was actually the front and I didn't have the back upside down, because that is something that I would do. All right, and then you can just peel it up. Ah, that is so cute. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I used metallic gold Oracal 651 for the stars, white for the letters, you know, the wording at the bottom, these little accents in the words for the behind the cloud, and then I use Sparkle adhesive vinyl for this part. And if you are thinking, okay, well, now I can't ever use this piece of transfer tape because it's got permanent marker on it. Well, let me show you that with some isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel, it wipes up pretty well. So you could, you know, obviously if you wanted to do another decal with the same, you know, design, you would already have it sketched out and you could do it again. Oops, and then it'll come off. So if you work at it, it's gonna come off. You don't have to sit here and watch me clean, because that's not why you're here. Hopefully you're here to pick up a few tips and tricks when layering vinyl. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around. So give me just a second here. You're going to see the ceiling and my hands as I adjust this back down so I can see all your smiling faces. No, I can't actually see you. But there we go. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. That's all I had today, and it's gonna be a little crooked, so sorry about that. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that you stopped by, that we talked a little bit about vinyl layering and our decals, how to line them up with without using registration marks. So the design itself comes from the June bundle at So Fancy, which is available until the end of June. And then I have the other materials. I use my Silhouette CAMEO 4, the Silhouette CAMEO 4 pen holder. But of course, if you don't have that, you can always trace it too. And I have the design linked in and then of course the vinyl that I used too. Linked in the description, so you can check that out. Check out the bundle, it's super awesome. And then we will catch you later.